Hey, welcome YouTubers and independent homeschoolers. This is part 2 on goal setting for your homeschool. Hope this is helpful. If you didn't catch the first lesson, you might want to, because it builds and I hope is helpful. Number 2, what we're going to look at real briefly is how do you decide? How do you decide on what should be a goal or what should not? Well, it starts like this. What do you want? I mean, honestly, what do you want? That's the gem of a question. You just keep asking yourself, well, what do I want? What is it that if turned out that way is what you really desire? Because that want or desire is going to be essential for you in terms of how you organize and how you act and how you find materials and fit it into to the system. But you need to ask that. You need to ask it in a way for each of your kids or all of your kids. Because in all honesty, you're dealing with unique individuals, so you want to treat them all the same by treating each one differently. Maybe you can turn them out all the same. You know, got one that's a math person. I've got 3 that are writers, but 2 of those writers do computer programming. 2 of the writers really just like to write the most, and then a third one's a journalist, and another one's sales promotion, works for hospital fundraising. So a lot of variety there, and you've got to keep that in mind because you have some type of vision in general for all the kids, but they're not all going to be the same. So you want to think about, in particular, this one individual. What do you want for them? What do you want them to experience? What do you want them prepared for? How, to the extent that you can direct it, do you want them to turn out? So we talked in the last section, there are 2 types of goals. You need to know which one you're talking about there. So you begin with what do you want. Second, you want to ask yourself this question: will the future be worse if we don't accomplish this? I won't go into this a lot, but this is a bit of a unique understanding we have, and that is that people are organized about avoiding a worse future. That's really the driver with people. And so if you think about a child, like if you think about, what if we never taught them math, right? So would their future be better, worse, or about the same without math? And I would argue it's going to be worse. There are things that they're not going to understand about purchasing, about handling their finances, and especially if they want to go into any STEM type curriculum, or really lots of curriculum, if they don't know mathematics, they're in trouble. Plus, there's logic taught with math. So their future is going to be worse also if they're not logical or don't know how to do logic, because then they're going to be susceptible to all kinds of manipulation and propaganda. So you want to ask, will the future be worse without this? Because that's going to clarify not only what you want to do, but really your motive in it. The third thing you want to ask towards deciding if a particular goal, I mean, I'm assuming you're going to get a list of things. You have a lot you already have, but you're going through and figure out what I want, make that list, and then you're going to ask, what will the future be worse? But third, you want to ask this question: is it worth it? Is it worth it? And that's kind of important, because if it's not worth it to you, you're not going to do it. And that could be worth the cost, worth the effort. It could be an issue of if you try it and fail, and it wouldn't be worth it to you even if you fail, that's going to be a hard time. That's going to be hard for you to build a goal around that. So you have to kind of sort that through even on homeschooling. Also, succeeding itself can bring things that you didn't want. So you got to think, is it worth succeeding at? And when you think this way around your goals, you can make a better decision, because if it's worth it to you, right, and if the future would be worse without it, you're almost golden. All that's left is, will I do it? You just want to ask that. Will I do it? That's part 2. Go work on it.